Hey. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ron, aka Ron the Artist, coming to you live. And welcome to Ron's Recap. I'm here today to recap and review the TV show RuPaul's Drag Race, Season 14, Episode 9, titled Menzeses. I think that's how you pronounce it. Menzies. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. I hope that the episode title grabbed you in. So let's get into it. Okay, so the episode started off with Jasmine Kennedy being sad about sending Carrie Colby home. It was saddening because Jasmine clearly, looked up to Carrie and her trans status, like Carrie Colby is gorgeous and very fine-tuned and seasoned and just well into that transition. She is a woman, beautiful body. And I guess Jasmine, looks at her like she would like to be that one day. Jasmine Kennedy, I could see that happening. Hopefully one day, that will happen soon. Outside of the show, it's probably, in today's world, it's already happening. So best of luck to her. And as far as Carrie Colby, I would like to see her get some type of modeling contract or something. She has the height for it, the look for it. Let's see Carrie Colby doing the damn thing. I'm ready for it. She has the face for it, the attitude for it, the look. Let's see it. I want to see her on billboards and brands. Let's see Carrie Colby do it. Okay, next up. The girls, they begin to reminisce about the competition and weighing out the wins and losses and sizing the girls up. With no wins. They're sizing the girls up with no wins, and I'm just like, don't do that, because those might be the girls that actually clean your clock out. Like, you better ask, last season, you better ask Olivia Lux. People slept on her from the beginning because she was the least seasoned. Yet, she outbeat a lot of the freaking girls in the competition. Most of the girls at the competition. I think she made top 5, top 6. And today she's still winning. Do not sleep on these people. Do not sleep on them. Okay, on to the paparazzi mini challenge with the celebrities. Cute challenge. It resulted to Willow Pill being the winner. Well deserved. She had an upside down pose with her legs open, and I thought that too when I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's unique. Like, she gave it her all. She is really like a silent killer. Like, you have no idea or thought of what the hell might be going on in Willow's brain, because she's so mellow and just in the cut, and you just don't know how she's gonna come. Like, she just sit back and meditate and just chill and be in her own little zone, and boom, in your face, sitting girls home in the top multiple weeks. She's a threat, and they slept on her too at the beginning of the season. I'm just saying. Okay, so next up, Willow. She won the mini challenge. Again, Willow, she got the chance to, due to her winning the mini challenge, she got the chance to choose her team for the stage challenge, picking Deja Sky, Angeria, and Lady Camden. She picked Lady Camden last, and it was strategic. She wanted to work with people she hadn't worked with before, and it worked out in her favor, ultimately. But that left the last 4 girls leading with Diabetes, since she was last week's winner. So Diabetes had the team of Bosco, Georges, and Jasmine Kennedy. And she was not feeling that. She felt like that was scraps. She felt like it was scraps. It was the end of the world, and it was no coming back from that. And then she started just doubting and talking so much trash about Jasmine Kennedy, and I'm like, girl, like, what is her issue with Jasmine Kennedy? I guess it was last week and the week before with the trash talking, and Jasmine Kennedy called out Diabetes for talking the crap about her behind her back. And like, Dire Betty is really a B word. Like, when she doesn't have to be. She doesn't have to be. Like, it could be all so simple, but Dire Betty just gotta go hard. She has to be the B word. And give a little slight moment, I want to say, earlier on, well, later on in the episode, or at least in Untucked, where that guest judge asked, who's the B of the season? And most people said Jasmine Kennedy. Lies. They should have been saying Dire Betty. And I feel like they did want to say Dire Betty and just didn't say it because Jasmine Kennedy, yes, she might talk a lot, maybe annoying, but she's not a B word. Dire Betty has been given a B word for 3-4 weeks straight now. And girl, it's not it. It's not it. It's not it. Okay, so moving on. Off rip. Willow's team they was already bonding right away. They started to bond right away. Already, like, quickly. When Betty's team was not. Like, off rip, again, Daya, she's not really much of a good leader, if you ask me, because a good leader is going to lead with positivity and, come in with a little bit of assertiveness. And I don't think she did much of that, maybe off camera, but she didn't come in on a positive note because I feel like that energy erupted into the group challenge. So they weren't as bonding like that. And I was just like, we'll see how that turns out. The bonding of the girls continued as they prepared for the big stage. And again, it was awkward with Daya's group. It was tension, silence. While Willow's group putting on their makeup and bonding and chit-chatting and loving on each other, Daya's group was not. Daya was giving out that energy as the group leader. And I'm just like, girl, it's already given what group is going to be superior because they're bonding, like, outside of the challenge. I'm just saying. So, ultimately, it turned out to be on the stage where Willow's group killed the challenge. They killed the panel discussion, because that's what it was. It was a panel discussion with a mediator. I'm sorry, not a mediator, a moderator. Willow's group killed the panel discussion with Deja being the moderator. And at first, I was like, okay, let's see how that's going to go. But Deja killed that damn role. I was shocked, but not too shocked. But I was like, okay, I didn't see that for her, but I'm glad. So kudos to Deja Sky for killing that moderator role, because she did the damn thing and rolled, knocked every punch that was thrown at her. Like, she took it and gave it back, and I was like, okay, she killed the role, and the group had, marvelous topics that they talked about and discussed. And starting with the relationships with their dads and their coming out story. Super relatable and engaging. Super, 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 super relatable. The coming out stories, and members of the LGBTQ plus community always struggle with the relationships with their dads. Not always, but more than likely, yes. And you see that depicted in this week's discussion, where Willow's dad was deceased. Deja Sky's dad, couldn't, she was a kid, and she told another little boy that they were cute at a young age, and he ran and chased them and beat them down because he wasn't supposed to do that, things like that, where traumatic, very traumatic, and have a lasting effect on children. And no matter how many years go by, people never really forget that. Like, and that's just what it is. Again, I also resonate with that personally, having a little bit of a disconnect with my father. I'm not going to get into that, but it's often talked about. It's a known thing where people of the LGBTQ plus community struggle with the relationship of their dad. And I hate to say this, but if the dad is black, it's going to be double the trouble. Moving on. Dyer's Group. I got to Dyer's Group's panel, and they did better than I thought. It was not bad at all. You know, there was a few hiccups with Georgia's stuttering, but her stuttering and conversation moments, they weren't unrecoverable. She was able to, you know, pick it back up after she stumbled and kept it going. Bosco was assigned the moderator role, and she killed it as well. Her role was decent, and she made it funny. Like, I was impressed with Bosco. Not that I doubted Bosco, but Bosco, she killed it. But she was another person. I wasn't sure, like, you know, how she would do with the moderator, because I don't see, even though I like Bosco and I do see a lot from her, you know, characteristic-wise, or I guess artistic-wise, I didn't necessarily see much of a voice, or like much of like a super big personality that could really do something with that. Like, if Cornbread was still in the competition, that would have been a good situation for her to be the moderator. You know, those personalities are a bit more fit to be it. But, you know, it worked out for Bosco. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was funny. And I'm happy for Bosco. And I like Bosco, by the way, in case anybody is wondering. I like Bosco. And again, I always talk about her eyebrows. Love them. Oh, and I also put that I loved, yes, I absolutely loved Diabetes yellow. All that yellow she had on in the panel discussion, from the hair to the attire, the shoes, it was giving lemon, banana. Like, I was like, come on, serve, honey. I love that yellow. It was bomb. And I think this is the moment where, I say last week, or maybe the week before last, it's starting to, there's a division between the whole Crystal Method narrative that's associated with her. Because Crystal Method never really would have wore a solid yellow look like that. She did good with the makeup here. You know, it's still a little bit, you know, gives Crystal Method a little bit in the eyes, but everything else was not Crystal, and is giving her own identity now. And kudos to Diabetes for that. You know, for breaking that, you know, that streak. And again, I loved it. That outfit, you know, was memorable. Her personality on the panel was memorable, you know, and good for her. So it was time for the runway looks, time for the runway challenge. The theme was shoulder pads. shoulder pads. And this week I jotted down all 8 remaining contestants and how I felt about them. Deja Sky, starting with Deja Sky. I said it was okay, you know, less fabric than usual. Last week was the first week where I felt it started lessening up on the fabric, and this week it was less on the fabric, and she gave, you know, nice shoulder pads. She gave what she was supposed to give in the challenge. She gave, and it was okay. I didn't feel it was the best look, but it was decent. Lady Camden, the Nutcracker look with the mask, unique and dope. Loved it. She might as well just took us to Christmas at that point, because she had on a full-blown mask, Nutcracker mask, and she had a reveal underneath that Nutcracker attire. She had a reveal, and I was just like, okay, Lady Camden. Unique and dope. On to Willow. I feel like Willow could have came harder. She could have came harder, in my opinion. With no shoulder pads. Like, the attire she had on had no shoulder pads, and it was least obvious. You know, it was obvious that she didn't have much going on here. And I'm just like, I felt like this week Willow should have probably been in the bottom when it came to that, at least. When it came to the look. Maybe not necessarily the bottom in the entire episode, because she did good with the you know, the panel discussion, and her group was dope. But I do feel like that look, it was not up to par. She was safe, and I was just like, yeah, okay. So, next up, Ingeria. I love the black and white checkered pattern with the hat she had on. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I love patterns and spots, as you can see. Patterns here in black and white, you know. Interior, she gave it. Bosco. I wrote, it was okay. It was okay in yellow with the DBZ inspired shoulder pads, and I liked that idea. Huge fan of Dragon Ball Z. Huge fan of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, whatever you want to get into. I liked that. And the fact that she referenced that, I'm like, okay, Bosco, come with it, come with it, come with it. It was okay, it was okay. It wasn't the best look, but it was unique. Georges. Meh. I literally wrote that. Meh. Meh. Glittery blue, glittery blue. Can't even say it correctly. Glittery blue. And it was it wasn't really shoulder pads. It was just kind of a arm situation that kind of was pulled to the shoulder. I was like, Georges. I like Georges, but I feel like she's been skating by for weeks. I do. I feel like she's been skating by for weeks, and another contestant has been skating by. Even though they have stepped it up a little bit in the last 2 weeks, I feel like they have gotten by. And I don't feel like Carrie Colby should have been eliminated before them. But, okay. Back to the topic. Jasmine Kennedy. It was just blank. I didn't even have anything to say about her. You know, and I actually like Jasmine Kennedy too. I actually like her. I don't dislike her at all. I like Jasmine Kennedy, but I feel like, okay, she could be coming a bit harder as well. And lastly, Daya Betty. Spikes on the shoulder, giving Army G.I. Joe. And I was like, okay, this is unique. Unique. And again, that's something that Crystal Method would never have worn. So opposite of Crystal Method. And I liked it. I liked it. So taking all that into consideration by the judges, ultimately the top queens of the week were Bosco, Willow Pill, and Deja Sky. And I do feel like Deja Sky, she deserved that. I thought she should have won the challenge. Personally, I thought she should have won the challenge. But it went to Bosco. And I thought Willow Pill, if it was just based on the look, bottom 3. But Bosco, she did good. The bottom queens of the week resulted into Georges, Daya Betty, and Jasmine Kennedy, making Angeria and Lady Camden safe. I was like, okay, I can do with the safe. You know, they were out of the way, but I felt like maybe Lady Camden should have been in the top, and maybe Willow could have been in safe. I guess more so to that extent. So again, ultimately, Bosco took home the win this week. Congratulations to her. Although I thought Deja Sky would have taken this week's win with the critiques. The bottom 2 resulted into Georges versus Jasmine Kennedy. Interesting bottom 2 to lip sync against each other, considering they both are dancers. They both are dancers, and it's something we've all been waiting and wanting to see. I've said that too in a previous recapping vlog. I'm like, I'm scared to see Georges in the bottom because I know she's going to dance the house down, and what do you know? Push come to shove, they get to this lip sync. Jasmine Kennedy understood the assignment as well. She knew that Georges was going to dance. Both of them danced their butts off. It was a slow song, and they worked it out to what they could do, and they gave characters, and they did the damn thing. I wouldn't say it was the best lip sync of the season, but it was a decent lip sync, and they did it. And ultimately, they both killed it, and it was a double Shantae. Ru said he didn't want either one of them to go home. So it resulted to another week of safe queens. And that I feel some type of way about. I'm like, meh. Like, come on now. We just had what? Was that last week or the week before? It was the week before where nobody went home. Yeah, it was the week before. Nobody went home. Carrie Colby went home last week, and now it's safe again. And mind you, we still have the opportunity of that golden ticket out there. So it could be another week prolonged. It could be another week that's prolonged because the golden ticket is still out there. So I'm like, okay, darn it. Like, we are really dragging the season. And honestly, going off script a little bit, this season is kind of boring. I hate to say it because I like a few people on the season, but the season is kind of boring. It's kind of boring. It's not really super drama filled, which I'm okay with, but it's not super engaging as well. And a lot of my favorites went home. Early on, and 3 of them that I felt like should have be there now, at least. But okay. It is what it is. So again, on to next week. Still 8 queens with the golden ticket. The golden chocolate is still out there. Finally, to the Untucked, the family videos in Untucked. Finally, they got to the family videos in Untucked, and Jerry was first up to receive it. They haven't showed any of the family videos sent to the contestants yet, and I was happy to see Angeria be first to get it, and she got it from her mom and dad, congratulating her, uplifting her, and it was sentimental because it's always sentimental when the family sends messages to the contestants, because you get to see a piece of them that's not in that competition. The competition, of course, you know that it's wearing down and kind of dragging the girls a little bit. It got to be messing with them, or it's intense on the mental. So the fact that they are getting uplifted by loved ones that they can't, physically talk to for the time being, physically or verbally probably talk to either. It's, it's got to be great. There's got to be a great feeling, and that could be the extra drive and extra gas to put fire under you to do the damn thing. And I'm glad it went to Angeria. Angeria seems, her family seems very accepting of her and, the work that she does. And they said Angeria pretty much manifested what she said, and here she is. My girl Angeria. It's my girl Angeria. So that's all I have for you guys this week. That's all I have for you guys this week. I give this week's episode a 6 out of 10. I do. I can't even lie to you guys. It wasn't extremely boring, but it wasn't a whole lot going on. And I was kind of disappointed. But I also feel like some of the bigger personalities went home earlier on. And I'm just like... So yeah, that's all I got for you guys this week. So next week it is, guys. Well, I'll see you next week. It's your boy Ron, aka Ron the Artist, coming to you live. If you're watching this right now with me on Instagram, we are live. If you're watching this on YouTube, it is not live. It's pre-recorded from Instagram and has been taken over there. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, like, share, comment in the comment section. Let's talk about the episode. Let's talk about the episode. Let's talk about the recap review. How did I do? Did you like it? Let's talk about it. If you're watching this on Instagram, let's talk about it. How did I do? Did you like it? What do you think about the episode? Until next week, guys. Peace.